Hi, everyone. Welcome to Curated by Becta's Meal Kit number 78 for November 24th to 27th. Thanks so much for ordering this week, and thanks for letting us bring some deliciousness to you at home. We've got a really special menu tonight. One of my favorite things in the world is duck. If you've watched this before, you know this. And tonight we were featuring the Ruggie Farm duck breast. We've got a great baby kale and romaine Caesar salad to start, and a parsnip cake with lime cream cheese icing and spiced walnuts. So lots of great things on the menu. So let's start with the duck because it's going to take the longest. So I've taken the duck out of the sous vide bag and I put it on a paper towel, patted it dry. We've already done this duck sous vide, so really you're just rendering the fat and warming it up and finishing the cooking. We want to put a generous amount of salt and pepper on these guys. And I have preheated the oven to 400 convection or 425 without convection. And we want to get a pan nice and warm, medium high, I believe. Let's look at Chef Rich's directions. All right, there we go. And so preheated to medium. Okay, great. And we actually don't need any oil in the pan because the duck fat has lots of oil in and of itself. So again, flip it over. I'm going to do some salt and pepper on both sides. My gas stovetop is doing some weird things. Let's hope that that clicking goes away soon. And then I want to get my polenta going on in a pan or a pot as well. And this is going to be on medium low if you're going to do what I do, which is reheat it throughout the duck portion. And then we've got our jus, which can go on low. And that's weird. Huh. This is the first time that's happened. This guy's not, oh, there we go. Perfect. Okay, great. I'm going to put that on nice and low. And this guy is getting medium. I put all my kale and romaine in a salad bowl and definitely need some tongs for that guy. We've tried a new format on our finishing instructions this week. I hope you guys like it for those of you who have ordered with us before. Just going to really try to make it a little more pro-looking. So very sweet. I have to thank Megan, our curated chef, and our chef Rich for putting that together. Very exciting. Okay, so the pan is going to be medium. So why don't we go ahead and put the duck down. We can get rid of this guy. And Chef Rich says 5 to 6 minutes, and you're going fat side down until the fat is golden brown, and then we're going to flip the duck over. In the meantime, let's have a little wine. So tonight, a couple of our classics that we've featured a couple times before. This is a Monsole Pinot Grigio. This is the Passi di Luce, and it's from the Veneto region of Italy. And it is classic Pinot Grigio. So really almondy, fresh citrus, like marzipan qualities to it. I'm a big fan, and it's going to go great with the Caesar salad. So why don't we go ahead and get this guy going on. So we've got a really lovely dressing with a lot of garlic and anchovy in here. If you are a vegetarian, then obviously we've got a different salad dressing for you. And unlike a lot of Caesars, we're not going to just pile all the ingredients in there. You're only stirring the dressing and the lettuces, and sort of pick up the lettuce with your tongs so that you can have it spread out nicely on the plate. And you don't want to leave half the dressing on your tongs. So give it a nice spin. I'm going to have a little bit of filler tonight because the duck breast is going to take a little bit of time to finish and then to rest. So we're going to talk about a few awesome things that we've been doing and that we're doing coming up. But first, I want to make sure my polenta Warming it nicely. Give it a stir. I might turn that up just a titch. Number 4 on my induction stovetop. If that helps you at all, if you guys have induction at home. Okay, I'm going to put the hood fan on low. And of course, I need some tongs to check out how our duck breast is doing. So that's a nice brown. So we're going to flip it over for a second, and we're going to sear it for about 1 minute. Flip over one more time and then bake in the oven for 3 to 4 minutes. So we're just going to basically sear it, and it's going to be really for about a minute on the back side, but then you're going to put it back in the oven on the fat side down because you want it to render out nicely. Okay, so let me get this guy going on. Super good. Okay. Yeah. And you can sort of move it around depending if you've got a thicker or thinner duck. They come in different sizes because you want to get a nice sear on every part. Okay, so I'm going to put it that side down, and then that's going to go in the oven. And that is for 3 to 4 minutes. Hey, Google, set a timer for 3 minutes. Hey, Google, set a timer for 3 minutes. Okay. Now we're going to put another pan on the stove. Grapeseed oil, canola oil. I use grapeseed oil, and 1 tablespoon per person. We're going to get that to medium, and then we're going to throw in the Brussels sprouts. We're going to saute them for 5 minutes. We steam them for you ahead of time, and so this gets the moisture out of them, and then they start to brown nicely, and then we're going to throw our roasted carrots in there. But in the meantime, why don't we go ahead and start plating our lovely baby kale and romaine Caesar. So last couple weeks, if you guys are regular curated folks, you will know that we have focused on some fundraisers, which are terrific and great to support amazing causes. Last week was the Snowsuit Fund, and before that was the Outcare Foundation for supporting palliative care. Make sure we get all of that in there. Great. And so apologies if you wanted to order one of our meal kits and they weren't available. They were available if you bought it through there or to support the Snowsuit Fund Gala last week. Anyway, so we're back at it, and thanks for that. But it's and if you're new curated customers because you've tried either Outcare or the Snowsuit Fund, welcome. You know, this is a fun thing that we do every week. Okay, why don't we get our Brussels sprouts in next. Perfect, there we go. And if you got these little petals, I'm actually going to take them out because they will cook much faster than the rest. Sometimes the petals come off. So I'm going to toss those in when the carrots go in. Make sure that it's on medium. Okay, great. While I'm here, I'm going to whisk this guy around. And stir the polenta. Okay, we're going to top our Caesar. Now, in order, we're going to do the grano padano, followed by the dill, then pancetta, and then the focaccia croutons. So grano padano, a fancy version of Parmesan, and shaved really nicely. Okay. Then the dill gives it a real freshness. This is not like your average steakhouse Caesar salad. And for those of you who ordered the vegetarian version, you have some crispy capers instead of the pancetta. Hey Google, off. So I know I've got another minute because it was 3 to 4 minutes in there. Okay, lovely. Now, you shouldn't need to season this because a lot of different items like the grano padano and the pepper or the pancetta have salt, and of course we have seasoned the dressing. So you shouldn't have to season this at all. Try to divide everything up evenly. A nice little brown going on that. I'm going to turn off the oven. So there is your baby kale and romaine Caesar with the grano padano and the pancetta and the sourdough croutons. All right, let's get our main course ready. Duck is coming out. What I like to do is toss it over. I got some of the fat on the bottom, and then, ooh, that's hot. My stove might beep because that's nice and hot. I use a resting rack, like a cookie sheet, and that's the perfect thing to rest it. So again, about 5 minutes on the resting. We're almost there on the veg. Why don't I go ahead and throw the carrots and then the Brussels sprout leaves in there. And 1 tablespoon per person of unsalted butter. Make sure to always use unsalted butter so that you know how much salt you're dealing with. And while those guys are going on, I'm going to turn up the jus just a titch here. Let's get the dessert going on. If you've watched before, you will know that my family and I have asked for only one dessert on these meal kits because they can get a little rich when you have them once or twice a week. This week I'm filming 2 because we have the big night in tomorrow night that we're filming. And we've got these candied walnuts. So parsnip cake, basically a take on a classic carrot cake. And lime cream cheese icing and the spiced walnuts. There you go. Make sure this is nice. The jus gets stirred. The polenta nice and warm. I'm going to turn this guy off now because the butter is starting to come out of the polenta and you want to make sure that it stays integrated. That's going to be nice and hot because of the fat in the polenta, it can really get out there for you. And then we're going to slice our duck in just a second, but make sure to rest it the full 5 minutes because if you don't, then the juices run out over your cutting board and the duck is more tough and not as tender. So enjoy that. For the dinner for 2 wine pairings tonight for the red is another classic. This is brought to us by the rep Lauren Hayes Vandenway, who is married to our general manager Peter at Becta, and it's delicious. Chateau Pesquet. This is the Les Terrasses from the Southern Rhone, mostly Grenache, a little bit of Syrah, and Connor describes this bright, lively wine with enticing red fruit flavors and aromas of garrigue, which is sort of a wild smokiness that like wild herbs, thyme and rosemary. I'm a big fan. All right. So our veg is probably done. Let me turn that off. This guy is ready to go. The polenta is ready to go. So let's get our duck breast going. Gorgeous. Hopefully I didn't overcook it. Sometimes I overcook it because I keep forgetting that the duck is done sous vide. And so we've already cooked it most of the way for you. And I always tend to want to sear duck at a very high temperature. So it's easier to cut if the fat side is down and you want to cut it against the grain. So find where the curve is and then go against that. And you want to cut it as thin as you can. This is looking a nice medium rare. I guess I could probably turn my hood fan off now too. Now, I'm going to take it and turn it fat side up, because that's the prettier version to look at, prettier side. And then we're going to season it with salt and pepper. If you have some crunchy salt, some fleur de sel, Maldon salt, something like that, please do that. Give some great texture to it. Okay, and now polenta down first. That's off. That guy's off. This is going to be decadent. Maybe a little more polenta on this guy. Put a nice circle on the bottom. Make sure to spread it out, because that way you can see it when you put the other stuff on top. Cheesy delicious, because that's with the roasted garlic and pecorino in the polenta. I get that right? Pecorino and roasted garlic polenta, yeah. Now we're going to divide up the veg. Again, keep it around the plate so that you can see the beautiful veg when you put the duck on. This guy off, give it a little whisk. So you fanned the duck out. And the little trick, the last end piece, you can turn around so you see the inside rather than the outside. That is a good looking dish. I did not bad. There's a little bit of juice on there. I probably could have used another minute to rest. But hey, we are all home cooks. And then finally, beautiful duck jus. I'm going to try one on top and one on the side. I think I like the one just on top better. There we are. Beautiful Rougy Farm duck breast with the roasted Brussels sprouts and carrots, the roasted garlic and pecorino polenta, and of course the duck jus. Thanks so much for ordering this week, and thanks for letting us be a part of a special celebration at home. I hope you have a great dinner, and I hope we get to cook and curate for you real soon.